You learned how to write information to an XML file in Lesson 9.9. But there's a much easier way to do this. Using the XML Serializer class, you can save any object into an XML file and easily convert these XML files back into objects. To begin this lesson, open the .NET Expert project from your Sample Files folder. And open Object-to-XML.aspx in Design View. Once complete, this page will enable you to save the name and address details into an XML file and retrieve them again. Now open the code behind file of Object-to-XML.aspx and add a using line for system.xml.serialization. This namespace contains the XML Serializer class. Now add another using line for system.io. This namespace contains the Stream Writer class. You'll need this to write the XML data to a file. You learned about streams in Lesson 2.3. Now let's examine the button Serialize to XML file click event handler. This event handler creates an instance of the customer class and populates its properties with the values entered by the user. You're now going to add some code to this event handler to serialize the customer to serialize object into an XML file. Add the following code to the end of the event handler. XML Serializer equals new XML Serializer type of customer. This creates an XML Serializer object that can convert or serialize customer objects into XML files. Note that the type of keyword is needed to specify the type of object that the XML Serializer object will serialize. Now add the following code on the next line. Stream Writer equals new stream writer server.mappath /customer.xml. This code creates a stream writer object that will be used to write the XML file. Finally, add the following code on the next line. Serializer.serialize writer customer to serialize writer.close. This code saves the XML file and closes the stream writer object. This is all the code you need to save an object as an XML file. Now let's test your code. View Object-to-XML.aspx in your web browser. Now change some of the values in the text boxes if you wish, and click Serialize to XML file. Now close your web browser and return to Visual Studio. Next, click File, Open File, and if you're not already in the .NET Expert folder, navigate to C, Practice, ASP.NET Expert, Sample Projects, .NET Expert, .NET Expert. Now click Customer.xml and click Open. The XML file that was generated from your object is opened in Visual Studio. Note that, as well as serializing objects to XML files, you can serialize them to standard binary files. This is done using the classes in the system.runtime.serialization namespace. Serializing objects to binary is a more involved process than serializing to XML, but it has exactly the same purpose. The advantage of binary serialization is that the resulting files will be smaller than the XML files created through XML serialization. The advantage of XML serialization is that the files it creates can be read by other XML-aware applications, such as Microsoft Excel. Binary serialization might seem useful if you want to serialize large amounts of information to a file, but a database is usually a better choice for storing large amounts of information. Close Visual Studio now, and you've now completed Lesson 11.5. Serialize an object to an XML file.